It's time for week 3 of our NFL picks, but first we look at the standings. I just am going to gloss over the week I had. I was 9-21 last week. Truly awful. You were great. 17-13. I think you went 10-5 on the spread. As you can see, straight up spread locks total right now. I am 21-36-1. You are 31-26-1. So you've got me by 10 games
10.
As we head into week 3. Obviously, the winner of this competition at the end of the season will be owed a delicious, expensive steak dinner from the other competitor. But we got a long way to go, so don't get too excited yet because I'm feeling a comeback right now.
Well, I hope you do, and that feeling is probably just what you had for lunch. I don't think it's actual comeback. So, look, I wish I would have went to Vegas like you said before the show started. I wish I would have went to Vegas this weekend and bet the spreads because I would have made some money. Probably enough to quit this show. Yeah,
then you could have really left me in the dirt finally, but
that's right.
You'll have to wait another week. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First game on the docket is the Giants, the G-Men, heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. This is the definition of corner TV game. No one wants to watch it. It's on, but we all kind of forget about it. Give me the Browns to win the game, but the Giants to cover the spread. I think they're both rough football teams, but the Browns are better. The Giants are abysmal.
I'm right there with you. I'm going to get to take the Browns to win, the Giants to cover. I think the reason I have the Giants covering is because the chemistry between Malik Neighbors and Daniel Jones last week was really promising. Don't know if it'll last, but it was nice to see that Malik Neighbors looked to be the shining star in the rookie world, aside from Marvin Harrison Jr. last week.
The Houston Texans are going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Possible game of the week matchup right here. Both teams coming off of big wins. Both teams looking really good. Texans defense is dangerous. Texans are favored by 2.5 points on the road. I could see this game going either way. I toyed with picking the Vikings. I was really close to doing it, but I'm going to stick with C.J. Stroud. I'm going to take the better quarterback. Give me the Texans to win, Texans to cover.
Again, I'm there with you. Texans to win, Texans to cover. I think that the injuries plaguing the Vikings right now is really going to be the Achilles heel for the Texans to win this game and cover comfortably. I think with, Justin Jefferson has a little tweak going on. Addison has a tweak going on. I just don't know if Sam Darnold's going to have the weapons around him like he has through week 3 coming into this week to win against the Texans.
Yeah. Addison having a tweak is a lot better than Addison having a drink. That's a problem. All right. Philadelphia Eagles going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints look like one of the best teams in the league. The Eagles kind of threw the game away. They threw the game away on Monday night. Saints are favored by 2.5 at home. I don't like doing what I'm about to do. I don't enjoy it. I don't like the coach. I've been up and down, but I'm taking the Eagles to win. I think they right the ship. I think the Saints falter for the first time, go to 2-1. They'll be okay. Eagles win the game. I'll take the 2.5.
I'm going to go Saints here. Saints to cover, -2.5. I don't think the Eagles are going to have this right their wrong game this time. A.J. Brown's likely going to be out. You take away that weapon, you take away a big part of the Eagles' offense. Also, the Eagles, I heard a stat today, it's been like 6 or 9 games since they've had a sack. So with all that being said, Derek Carr is on fire right now. Chris Olave is coming into his own. Kamara is there also. And in case you didn't realize, he's really good this year.
He found a time machine.
Right. I'm going to take the Saints to win and cover. I'm very confident that this will happen. I'm so sorry that you're going to be wrong on this one.
Yeah, you're probably right because the Eagles secondary has struggled and that Saints offense is humming, but I feel like if the Eagles are going to course correct, it has to happen this week. Chargers at the Steelers, another game nobody really wants to watch. Steelers are favored by 1.5 at home. Justin Fields looks like he's going to keep being the guy. Russell Wilson's injury got him out, and Fields is doing okay, but he's not scoring points. Let's not act like Justin Fields is looking fantastic. That defense is playing really good, and the offense is just surviving. Chargers look incredible. It's a typical Harbaugh team. Run the football, physical, don't make mistakes. Chargers win the football game. Give me the 1.5 points.
I'm going to take the Steelers to win here and to cover, -1.5. I think this is one of those games where Mike Tomlin dials up the right defensive schemes and has just enough points to win this game outright. You said he's not scoring a lot of points. I just want to point out to you, starting out this season, nobody's scoring a whole lot of points. Aside from the one-off games where there's shutouts, a.k.a. the Saints, people aren't scoring points. This is one of the lowest touchdown years so far in all of college or all of NFL football in the past 10 years. So nobody's really scoring points. That's not a testament to the defense. I just think offensively, everybody's lacking right now, and the injuries are hurting everybody.
I think it's a combination. I think defenses have caught up a little, but you're seeing, one, we're also starting a ton of young quarterbacks. I mean, we got like 5 rookies starting and not playing the preseason.
This is one of those games where Mike Tomlin is going to out-coach Harbaugh and win this game by the skin of his teeth.
All right, we'll see. The Denver Broncos and the Bo Nix experiment keeps on chugging along. Did you see where they asked Bo Nix? They're like, can you break down that interception for us? He was like, yeah, I dropped back through to the other team. It was pretty
great.
Funny.
Let's move on.
All right, Broncos head to Tampa Bay to take on Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. How about those Buccaneers? Favored by 6.5 points here. Big spread, but the Broncos are bad. It sucks. Their defense is really good, but God, their offense, they can't score any points. Bo Nix looks rough. I'm just starting to doubt if Sean Payton still has it. Give me the Bucks to win the football game, Bucks to cover. I could see this being one of those games where Tampa falters because it has to happen, but right now Tampa looks too good.
Tampa does look great. That's why I'm picking them to win here, but I do have the Broncos covering. I think that defense is going to be good enough to keep them at bay. The Broncos get a couple of lucky scores, maybe even in garbage time to bring it closer than the game probably actually looks when you're watching it. The Bucks are really, really good. Chris Godwin is just on fire right now. It was his week last week. And I think that this duo, Godwin and Evans, it may be the 2 best wide receiver duos in the league. I mean, they're great.
Yeah, when you use them properly, it's you called it this preseason. You said moving Godwin back to the slot is going to be a big benefit for the Bucks, and you were right. But interestingly enough, you're taking the Broncos to cover. We got a difference on the spread there. The Packers and the Titans, the battle of irrelevant quarterbacks. Will Levis versus Malik Willis. Do not miss a second. Ooh. But Matt LaFleur, one of his best coaching jobs last week. Really. Matt LaFleur is one of the best coaches in the league. He continues to prove it. Titans are favored by 2.5 points on the road here. Man, I've got no faith in Will Levis. When he plays within the structure of the offense, he's actually all right. But he just makes too many crazy, absurd, high school, middle school mistakes. It's pathetic. Matt LaFleur is going to just outcoach them. Matt LaFleur is the better coach. He's going to win the football game. Packers win, and obviously I'll take the 2.5.
I'm right there with you, man. I think it comes down to coaching in this game, not even sheer talent. But I also think that we see a resurgence of Josh Jacobs right now. I think you're going to have to rely heavy on him, especially in the absence of Jordan Love. And then the Titans, look, I know that Calvin Ridley had a great game last week. Don't count on it to keep happening. Sell him high if you play fantasy. Go ahead and ship him on out because it won't stay. That was a one-off game. The Titans are going to be terrible this year and continue their streak of mediocrity.
The Chicago Bears are, not having the start that a lot of people suspected. Interestingly, if only we could have seen this coming because it's a rookie quarterback. Who would have thought? Oh, logical people. That's right. The Chicago Bears, they're going to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Anthony Richardson, he's just all over the place, man. He makes some spectacular plays, but he's just all over the place. I actually don't know if Steichen's going to be able to rein him in, and that says something because Steichen is a quarterback whisperer. Surprisingly, the Colts are favored by 1.5 here. I'm taking the Bears to win, and I'm taking the plus the 1.5 strictly because of the Bears defense. The Bears defense is really, really good, and the Colts offense is not. Like, Anthony Richardson's all over the place. You can't rely on him. I think he's going to have trouble against the Bears defense. Probably the same vice versa, but Chicago is going to find a way to win.
I disagree. I think the Colts win this one. I'm going to take them to cover, minus 1.5. I think Anthony Richardson is going to get better and better as the weeks go on. You got to think what happened last year, right? Like, he hasn't had that chance to really develop with Steichen yet in real game situations. So I think going into week 3, it's going to be an improvement off last week. That's the funny thing. If Anthony Richardson could dial it in, he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, hands down. He's got the arm. He's got the legs. He just needs the accuracy, that middle range to short range passing, and then the pressure in the pocket. He needs to work on those things.
Decision making,
decision making for sure. They're going to have a really tough game, but I do think they come out on top here.
The Carolina Panthers with Andy Dalton going to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders after an upset over the Ravens. I think there's a little bit of Panthers inflation because Dalton's coming in. Guys, it's Andy Dalton. Okay, he's going to be a little bit better than Bryce Young. Not much. Not a lot of analysis for me. Raiders win. Raiders cover.
I'm going to take the Raiders to win. I'm going to take the Panthers to cover in a turn of events because I think that, I tell you all the time when they have like a head coaching change, just like when the Raiders hired Antonio Pierce, they came out that game looking inflated, And so while you can inflate them by just talking about them, they usually play a little bit inflated that first week. I think Andy Dalton plays this game through the air a lot more. And I think in return, they're going to score a few points on the Raiders to make them have to fight all the way through, start to finish. And so that's why I think they'll play it close. I do think the Raiders come out on top. Devontae Adams is just on fire right now with Brock Bowers. I think this team is really rolling offensively, but I do think that their defense is just a shade worse than it was last year. They need to fix that. I think the Panthers score a few points on them, play it close. Give me the Raiders to win, though.
Interesting. All right, so you've got the Panthers in the spread. I've got the Raiders. But we both think the Raiders win the football game. Raiders look better than I thought. They're one of those teams, man, that if they can just hang around. That's what they did to Baltimore. They didn't do anything impressive, but they just hung in there. Stay close, stay close, stay close. And then in the fourth quarter, they just wear you down. I kind of like watching them play. All right, the Dolphins head to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Tua officially on IR. That situation up in the air. We will see what happens. We're hoping the best for him, obviously. We really like Tua. He's a good guy, and he's a fun player. But he's out right now, and Geno is rolling. Mike McDonald. I didn't think he would be such an immediate upgrade over Pete Carroll. He is. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks look like what I thought they would look like last year. The Seahawks win this football game easily, and they cover.
I agree with you here. The Seahawks are just on fire. Without or with Tua, I don't think this would have changed my opinion at all. Wow. I don't think the Dolphins are playing up to snuff like I thought they would be. I think I had them winning the division over my Bills.
That's right.
I would retract that statement, but since I've already said it on the internet, it's got to be true. So I'm going to take the Seahawks to win and cover. The Dolphins are just, they're in a rough shape right now.
Yeah, that's one of my predictions that's looking really good this year. I saw the Dolphins regression coming.
Sure did.
So we'll see. We'll see how the season shakes out. It's still early. All right. Big one right here. The Detroit Lions going to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Both teams look different than we expected preseason, I think. Lions maybe more up and down. Cardinals way better. Lions are favored by 3 points on the road. Sound the sirens. Call in the police. This is an upset alert, Ryan. The Arizona Cardinals win the football game. They're going to beat Detroit. I'll gladly take the points. They announced their arrival as a real threat this season.
How did you take mine?
No!
That's exactly what I have. The Cardinals to win, and obviously I'll take the points because, look, what we saw last week in like the opening 2 drives with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., if you recall, there were 2 out routes that he ran right by the goal line with Marvin Harrison. He went to him every time. That's promising. He has to dial in that pass, that fade pass. If he did, Marvin Harrison would have 2 more touchdowns on the board. So I think the chemistry between them is just going to continue to build. They're at home. James Conner's going to be great this year, as pending he stays healthy.
He's always good.
I think the Lions, like you said, are a little bit up and down. They're on a seesaw. One week they look like a Super Bowl team. The next, they don't. And honestly, they went up against the Rams team that we thought was probably a little bit better than they wound up being. Obviously, the injuries don't help, but I think the Lions team is just, they're still shaking off all of that offseason rust. I think about week 7, that's when you're going to see the Lions really come into their own. But right now, the Cardinals are just on fire, man. I can't pick against them.
When the Lions execute, they're great. But that's really how they lost to Tampa. It was mistakes.
That's right.
Not converting third downs, 1 for 7, I think, in the red zone, something crazy like that. Like, they just played sloppy football. When they're, smart and play smart football, they win. But I'm going with Arizona. If I'd known you were going with Arizona, I would have took Detroit. But here we are. Moving on. Maybe game of the week right here. The Baltimore Ravens. The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens head to Dallas to take on the 1-1 Cowboys. Both of these teams reeling after a week 2 loss. Both teams desperately need this win, but that's what's great about the NFL. Only one of them can get it. The Ravens are favored by 1.5 on the road. I do not feel comfortable about this. I don't have any, confidence, but I'm going to say the Ravens win this football game. I'm going to say they cover the 1.5 spread. No football analysis, simply because they can't start 0-3, Ryan. The Ravens can't start 0-3. It can't happen in this universe.
So I was going to give analysis because I agree with you, Ravens and Ravens to cover. But when you said that before the show started, that the Ravens couldn't open up with 0-3, that speaks for itself. That's the best point you can make here. And that's really the only leg I have to stand on. Hopefully, this Ravens defense can step up and prevent the Cowboys from going downfield with CeeDee Lamb constantly. I don't think the Cowboys' rushing game is fully put together yet. I don't think they figured it out. I think Rico Dowdle will play a bigger part in this. going down the road, but in week 3, it's still a little bit shaky. Dak's a little bit shaky. I think that honestly, the Ravens have a great shot at a bounce-back game away from their own stadium.
All right, so we're the same there. We'll see. Moving on, San Francisco 49ers head to Los Angeles to take on the Rams, a game that would have been exciting, but the Rams season has just gotten away from injury. You see this every year. There's usually at least one team that just gets hit with a ridiculous amount of bad luck. It's the Rams. They were my number 1 seed in the NFC in my preseason predictions. That's out the window. I really hate it. And they're going to have to do something because Stafford got sacked 5 times last week. They can't keep putting him out there like this. 49ers are favored by 7.5. Maybe some miracle happens. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams cover, but I'm not picking it. 49ers win. They cover. Rams are in trouble.
They are in trouble. I can't see a world where Sean McVay lets the 49ers win by more than 8 points.
The Cardinals won by 30, though.
That's okay. Let's not bring up the past. I'm going to go 49ers to win. I'm going to have the Rams cover. That's probably a bad mistake, but you know me and the big point spreads. I don't like them, and anytime I see them, I try to pick with them if I feel confident. Last week I did. It worked out for me. I'm going to pick it again this week. The Rams plus 7.5 at the 49ers to win. Deebo Samuel is out, so that is a knock against the 49ers. Maybe offensively they're a little more reserved than they would have been. And maybe they rely on Jordan Mason more, so maybe it's a closer game than going all through the air with Brandon Ayuk, who is questionable to be a breakout star this year.
Hey, would have helped if he was at training camp, but he was too busy on TikTok. The Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of a close win against the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Chiefs are 2-0, but they lose Isaiah Pacheco. Huge loss to the season. I cannot overstate how big of a loss that is to the Chiefs. It completely changes the way defenses play them and the way they have to play offense. They are favored by 3.5 points in Atlanta against the Falcons. After Kirk Cousins delivered a prime-time game-winning drive, Falcons looked more like we expected them to. The Chiefs are going to win this football game. They're a better team. Patrick Mahomes is against Kirk Cousins. He will win. I almost took the Falcons to cover because Patrick Mahomes doesn't usually do good against the spreads, but reluctantly, I'm taking the Chiefs to cover. They win and they cover.
It's an upset alert, folks. Kirk Cousins is going to go against Patrick Mahomes and defeat him. Gladly give me the plus 3.5 points. I think this Falcons team is grooving and moving, especially at home. By the way, the Chiefs left the refs at the other stadium, so they won't be helped out this time.
That was a pass interference.
For the Chiefs, I just did that to mess with you because I couldn't care less. The Chiefs losing Pacheco, that's a big, big issue.
It is.
As much as they have been running the ball this year, it's an understatement. I don't think people have been talking about it enough. I know that Carson Steele, P. Ryan, and now Kareem Hunt is your backfield.
They're not Pacheco. Pacheco's one of the best in the league.
Exactly. Pacheco's better than all three of those put together.
Yes.
I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be airing the ball out more, and I think with the Travis Kelce situation, he looks like he's taking a step back too, especially in certain drives where I'm just like, where are you? Where is Kelce sometimes?
He did this last year, though. I think he's just kind of fading out of it and saving himself for the playoffs.
Yeah, and in that case, you do have to win some games. I don't think this is one they win. They played it super close last week against the Bengals. I think the air is taken out of this team because of losing Pacheco. I don't put it past Mahomes to do Mahomes magic stuff, and that may happen, but I just really am high on the Falcons right now, man. I think especially Drake London came in and got chemistry with Kirk Cousins last week. Kirk Cousins looked like he was a lot more comfortable in the pocket than he had been in week 1. I think it's a winning team.
Yeah, you're overlooking one crucial factor, which is the identity of the Kansas City Chiefs, their defense.
I get it.
The Spags defense, man. That is, it has been for the past 2 to 3 years. That Chiefs defense is the team, and Patrick Mahomes just has to manage the game and deliver in the fourth quarter. It's what he does best.
Somebody has to score, though, and I know the Chiefs are going to score some points, but I just don't think they'll score as many as the Falcons.
I can't wait. Didn't we have this conversation last year where you had to come on the air and wear a Mahomes is my daddy sign?
Do you have a box of receipts next to you?
Are we going to make you do it again?
I just need you to light them on fire.
All right, last game. Jaguars head to Buffalo to take on the Bills.
The who?
The Jaguars, as you would say, head to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The team, that we laid to rest earlier this week. See our video on our channel. We had a eulogy and everything.
You did. I had already laid them to rest.
Yeah, you did that last year. Look, no analysis required. Jaguars are awful. Everyone's getting fired, probably mid-season. Bills look great. Bills win. Bills cover.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. No analysis needed. My question to you is, James Cook, is he going to have over or under 3 touchdowns?
Under.
Okay. I think this is a game where James Cook just gets all the red zone touches and gets like 3 touchdowns this week.
Okay, 2 locks, 2 spread picks that we say we are super confident in. We're going to bet the house. My 2, I'm going Seahawks -4.5. Who are they playing? I forgot. Against the Dolphins. And then give me the Packers +2.5 over the Titans. I think those are my locks right now. Seahawks -4.5, Packers +2.
Yeah, I'm going to take my Bills -4.5 for obvious reasons. I can't stand the Jags, and the Jags can't stand themselves. I'm also going to take, just for fun, the Giants to cover that big spread of 6.5 points against a very, very bad Browns team. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. I know nobody really wants to. I do, just because it's like watching a toilet bowl, you know? It's like they're both crappy teams. Might as well watch them. I do think Malik Neighbors, though, he's special, man.
Oh, yeah. Great player. And the locks don't count towards our overall total. They don't count towards the bet, the competition. It's more just for fun. So there you have it. Hopefully, I can make up some ground this week after falling way behind. I'm 10 points behind, but it's a long season, my friend, and we got a long way to go. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Make sure, everyone watching, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, tell everybody about it. Old school water cooler talk and comedy about football. We will be here bluffing our way through the entire NFL season. See you next week. Have a safe weekend, everyone. Goodbye.